Hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to the channel. Or if you happen to be a new visitor here or someone who has been here before but hasn't subscribed, please, by all means, go ahead and click on that big red subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. Today we're talking about Episode 7, Star Trek Discovery Season 4, which is entitled But to Connect, our last episode of Discovery before we take a little bit of a mid-season hiatus and then Discovery returns on February 10. So we sort of ended on a little bit of a cliffhanger here. Before we get into the breakdown of this week's episode, I'm rocking the new Galaxy Projector behind me, as you guys can see. If you want to pick up one of these things, which are an awesome product from Galaxy Lamps, the Galaxy Projector, as you can see on the back wall behind me, check out the link in the description, enter the coupon code NICK10, and you can pick yourself up one of these awesome Galaxy projectors for your lounge room, home theater room, bedroom, you name it. It's a fantastic product and looks great behind me. So in this week's episode, it was a very talky episode this week. I think we had a lot of stuff going on, obviously with the assembly at the Federation headquarters, and we had a lot of stuff going on board the Discovery, and the debate over Zora's stubbornness to divulge information and the definition of her as a sentient life form. So it was kind of one of those ethical debate episodes where we sort of, got a bit of debates going on all over the place. Normally, when they have these kind of episodes, they break them up by the A story having maybe a bit more action and excitement and having the B story be the sort of the talky philosophical stuff. But this week we got both the A story and the B story. Everybody's sitting around having a bit of a chat. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it posed some very interesting questions. The whole Zora debate with her sentience and everything kind of, was a little bit reflective of an episode such as Measure of a Man in Next Generation, where we got to debate Data's status as a life form and all that sort of thing. So there were sort of elements of that in this episode, and we obviously had the council chamber thing with the assembly going on, Taka and President Rillick and everything all kind of weighing in on what should be done about it. And it certainly posed some interesting food for thought. Some of my favourite Star Trek episodes have been those philosophical ones, such as Measure of a Man, that, have you thinking about the rights and the ethics and all that sort of stuff. I think they can be very interesting episodes. And I think this episode was handled relatively well. I was engaged throughout the whole episode. I didn't find it boring. I think I would have probably liked to have a bit more debate from all the different races. There's like hundreds of races and everything represented from all parts of the galaxy in the assembly meeting. However, we really only kind of heard from Burnham and Taka and Rillick and President Torina. I think it would have been a more interesting assembly if we had some other races that we'd know of, because it was meant to be an assembly of all of the races from the galaxy, Alpha, Beta, Gamma and Delta quadrants. I think seeing a bit more active debate between, races that we know but maybe haven't seen a great deal of. Let's hear from the Ferengi, the Cardassians, the Dominion, the Hirogen or the Kazon. Any races that we'd seen in past Star Trek, I think that was a great opportunity that was a little bit maybe lost, that we could have had some chiming in from different races, a little bit more debate going on, a little bit more back and forth, rather than just all the talking being done by Burnham and Rillick and Taka and Book. I think these guys we know, we see them every week. I think let's chime in with other races and see what their standpoint is on the issue. I think that would have been a more interesting and active and engaging interaction, I think, if we had have gone to other races. Then let's hear what the Bajorans have to say. Let's hear what the Klingons have to say about this. I think that would have been quite captivating. Not to say that it wasn't captivating. I think I saw all these different races, and there's a lot of races that they showed shots of that were essentially just people wearing, flouncy outfits with spoons and forks and head fascinators and things. Let's see what the Bajorans have to say. Let's see what the Jem'Hadar or the Vorta or the Dominion or the Breen, let's see some of these past Star Trek races chiming in. It would have been a great opportunity to do that. All the stuff with Zora becoming sentient and withholding the information they need to know about the location the planet where the DMA has originated from. That was all interesting stuff. The fact that she was withholding it, it sort of, very much reminded me of kind of, open the pod bay doors, Hal, do what I say, you naughty AI, you must listen to us. It was sort of a little bit reminiscent of that, I think, which always makes it interesting, I think. And I think debates over what defines sentience and at what point does the Discovery's computer become a new life form and all that sort of thing, and what defines it, and all that sort of debate, I think, is quite interesting. And I quite liked the way sort of Stamets and Kovic and Saru and everything kind of dealt with the various different questions they had to tackle in this episode. And obviously Zora, in order for herself, to feel like they could trust her, she created the fail-safe so they could, do the kill switch thing on her at any time, which sort of seemed like an extreme measure, but I guess that, was a big outreach on her behalf to try to get the crew to adequately trust her. I thought it was interesting in terms of Tarka's weapon that he designed to kind of defeat the DMA was the isolinic weapon or whatever, which I think was one of the possible things that we were speculating last season when we were talking about what caused the burn and what caused the, what created the burn, what sort of thing. I think talking about that Next Generation episode where various different weapons and so forth were destroying subspace and everything, and it was part of the Kittimer Accords, and we can't use these kind of weapons because they would inhibit all light speed travel throughout the quadrant. I think it's interesting that they've pulled that one out of the hat now, because that was kind of one of the options and things and speculative things we were talking about last season when it came to, working out what had in fact caused the burn. I think the reveal of Tarka as a member of an alternate universe, I didn't know whether they kind of inferred he was from the mirror universe or he was just from another universe. Does this mean he was from the Kelvin universe? It didn't seem like he was like Terran Empire kind of universe, but the whole multiple universe thing with, we've had Lorca and we've had Giorgio and now we've obviously got Tarka. The whole person from an alternate universe having travelled across between dimensions seems to have kind of been done a bit to death, I think. I didn't mind this aspect, but it sort of felt like, this chestnut again, We've kind of been there, done that, and I sort of feel like we don't necessarily need to keep going down this whole, people keep coming through from alternate dimensions and universes and everything constantly and causing trouble and everything. We've sort of been there and done that. I don't think we need to kind of go back and revisit that territory anymore, because we've seen it all before. One interesting thing I did find about this episode, which I think will be quite interesting to see how this plays into the second half of the season, is obviously the fact that Book and Burnham are on opposing sides of the debate. Book wants to destroy the DMA. He's got baggage about his homeworld being destroyed, and we've got Burnham wanting to solve the problem peacefully. And obviously, at the end of this episode, where Book and Tarka go off in Book's ship to basically take matters into their own hands, I could see it coming a mile away. I think as soon as they decided, yes, we're going to go for the peaceful response, knowing Tarka's personality and how full of himself he is, I thought he's just not going to let this go and sit back and just take that ruling, as gospel. I think there's going to be some uprising going on here, and sure enough, it did in fact happen. And even though it was kind of, you could sort of see it playing out that way a mile off, I think it will still be interesting as to see how that story element plays out in the second half of the season, particularly because, of the whole Burnham and Book being on different sides of the debate issue and everything, and how that's going to affect their relationship going forward. One little bit at the end of this episode, which I thought was really kind of cool, was the way they solved the whole Zora debate in terms of how we can trust her and everything, and that's by making her part of Starfleet. Does this mean her little speaker box on the display gets a Starfleet uniform and she has a rank within Starfleet? But I think it was a very good solution, because if she's part of Starfleet, then she's governed by the rules of the Federation and Starfleet and has to follow the chain of command. So I think that was an elegant solution in terms of how to solve that whole sentience issue by declaring her a life form and declaring her a member of Starfleet. I think that was kind of cool. We'll wonder how that's going to also develop in the second half of the season, whether she's able to put herself into a holographic form, for example, much like the Doctor was on Voyager. Will Zora be able to take corporeal form of some description and be able to move in and out of the computer as a program, with some form of mobile emitter perhaps? And does this mean we'll be seeing Zora in future episodes in some kind of physical form? I think that could be interesting as well. I think the fact that Gray is moving back to Trill to become a Guardian is a really good story development. I think the whole Gray storyline has kind of played itself out, I think. I think it was great to see Gray start off being the sort of the imaginary friend of Adira, and then obviously seeking out a body, which he has achieved and everything. So I think now that Gray has his own body and he wants to become a Trill Guardian and everything, I feel like that storyline has played its course. I think the character has travelled quite a satisfying arc, and for him now to go off and become a Guardian on Trill is a really nice conclusion for the character. So obviously that was our last episode of Discovery for a little while. The show's taking a mid-season hiatus. It'll be back on February 10th for more episodes. In the meantime, we've got some more Star Trek Prodigy coming on next week. On January 6th, we're going to be seeing another 5 episodes of Prodigy, which I'm looking forward to. And then I'll be very interested to see what is going on in February in terms of Picard, because Picard is meant to be starting in February as well, but we've also got Discovery meant to be airing in February. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to play out, because I would be surprised if they would have both shows airing at the same time. I would have thought they would have one finish and then the other one begin, but we shall soon see. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Leave a super thanks if you're able to. It really helps the channel out, much appreciated. Like and comment, and as I said, subscribe if you haven't done so. Check out the old one of these things, Galaxy Projector, 10% off in the merch store. Link is in the description, where you can enter the promo code Nick10 for some a great discount on that great item. And also check out my merch store, where you can pick up some t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, caps, all that sort of stuff. You know the drill. There's some really cool stuff here. This is one of my newer designs, the one from Lower Decks. And I will see you guys very soon for my next video. I'll catch you soon.